What is going on, guys? Today I have another quick episode for you. This one is going to be going over a YouTuber named Steph is Cold, and the video title is 3 Things I Learned in My Simping Days. Let's hop into it.
YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Steph. So today's video I want to talk about what I have learned through my simping days of me being a beta male cuck. Me, being that way, growing up. 3 things I learned. One of the things I learned is what women say and what women do are 2 different things, right? What women say, and what do I mean by that? This is because a lot of guys are new to this. A lot of guys really don't understand. What a woman says is not reality.
Just watch her actions, right? I mean, eventually she kind of like will tell on herself with her actions. Maybe a little bit of what she says, but again, watch what they do, not what they say. And also, if you're getting this, it's worth remembering too, because sometimes some of the things they say can be helpful, like what they want, right? Especially if it's like them telling you what they want or dating advice from a woman, right? Like, I'm not saying that it's all bad. What I am saying is what they say they want and what they respond to are 2 completely different things. So just keep that in mind. Like watch what they respond to and not necessarily what they say they want in a man, blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
It's not. What a woman does is what her reality is. Always remember that. What she say, it doesn't matter. She can say she want a nice guy and a good guy, and it's not true that good guys don't finish last. Man, good guys don't even finish the race. Good guys don't last at all, fellas. And society has deemed us to be good guys, just like how they did Frank Castle and Bruce Wayne. They wanted them to remain good guys after what happened to their families. After they watched their families get torn apart and put to death, they still wanted these people to remain good guys. You get nothing out of being a good guy in this world. Only thing you get is you get taken advantage of. That's it. You get treated like you're no.
By the way, I mean, like, because there are guys that'll play the card like, oh, but I'm such a nice guy. But really, oftentimes it's not that they're actually a nice guy. It's that they wanted something and were playing the nice card to get it, versus actually being a kind guy. And also there's a different type of nice guy who's just like a doormat, right? The saying is like nice guys finish last. Like, oh, all I really want is a nice guy. Again, what they say they want and what they respond to are 2 completely different things. And don't get me wrong, I am not telling you not to be kind. That is different than being the nice guy. Because being kind is actually standing up for yourself, not being a pushover or a doormat, having boundaries, knowing when to say no to them, knowing when to walk away, and different things here. So that's just important to remember.
Like you don't exist. The females I used to talk to, bro, and it's just funny because I just think about it still to this day. I'm like, dang, man, like the game really works when you apply it. I mean, it don't work if you don't apply it, but it really works when you apply it. And I remember when certain chicks I talked to, man, they would just treat me like trash. They would treat me like dirt. And now it's like, 5, 6 years later, I was in high school back in 2015. That's when I graduated. 6, 7 years later of me being gone from high school, 5 years later, most of them single mothers, complaining on social media, up in my DMs, right? Slept with my best friend. He got her pregnant. Like, this is all the stuff that I went through, right? Me catching the buses in a negative 30-degree weather for those that's from the Midwest, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit. Y'all know the Midwest is.
And by the way, they're not your friend if they're talking to, dating, trying to hook up with the girl that you were interested in. I'll just be real with you. Like, that's not a friend. Definitely not a best friend, too. That's very weaselly, small wiener behavior, right? So just remember that.
Cold as a mud, Minnesota. I'm catching a bus all the way from High Numbers, Silver Spring, all the way to Bayshore just to give her something that she don't even appreciate, and what I get, crumbs. You know what I'm saying? That's why I believe, I think 21 Savage said that, a woman can come into a man's life and he can change that whole woman's life But a woman can't change a man's life, and that's very true. That's very true. That is how we use hypergamy to our.
I would say the one caveat to this, but it's rare. It's like a needle in a haystack, basically. This is why it's important to be able to avoid red flags, toxic women, and find green flags, right? Because if you can avoid those things, it's like not getting your leg blown off by a mine in a minefield, right? So the one caveat to this, although they may seem rare, because there's a difference between seeming like a good girl and actually being a good woman, right? And the way I always put it, I've said it in a few different videos, is it's like horses going in two different directions, right? If they're not going in the same direction of you and your mission, then she's pulling you off course, right? Or if she's pulling in the opposite direction as you, she's making it hard. She's making it difficult. She's not bringing peace into your life. She's making things more challenging. And you can look at it this way too, because I've said this before. They could be providing resistance for you, being combative, not bringing peace. They could be an anchor, like on a boat, right? So you sink down with them. Or they can be like a sail or like nitro fuel, like a rocket, right? Because there's certain guys, that's one thing worth remembering here too, right? Is certain guys that are massively successful usually are married and have kids. Now, I'm not saying that it's always perfect, and there's definitely situations where like the marriage blew up. It might be because the guy didn't know how to vet or filter for the right kind of high quality long-term relationship. So like their choice in mother was bad, basically. They didn't interview properly. But there's certain guys that will basically attest their wealth and their success because they actually found a really healthy, high quality woman and created a fulfilling relationship where she was supportive, she helped his mission, right? So she put her all into him so they could build together, right? So just know the difference.
Advantage. I will say this again, I will always say this. Your success as a man is equivalent to her beauty in her prime. If you are not successful, bro, you are not seen in this world with women. Or should I say, a lot of women. And successful is subjective. It doesn't mean you're a millionaire. It just means that you're well off. And well off just means that when the bills paid, you well off. You can do as you please. Because you're free. And I just think about these things, man. Like, I remember the chick I used to talk to over the phone, like, every other night. I used to validate her, blow her head up, and call her beautiful, and I always wanted to get with her. And she'd be crying over the phone with me about some guy that's cheating on her. And 2 months later, she taking a Valentine's Day picture with him. She taking a Valentine's Day picture with him. And that brings me over to my next reason. Next thing that I learned about women, female nature, in my simping days. Once he is her sexual imprint, there is no going back. There is no getting away. There is no escape away from him.
By the way, playing that card like, oh, like the shoulder to cry on, right? That's the guy that she tells you not to worry about, right? And he said this in other videos too, right? So he was the guy not to worry about because he was essentially like a backup option in that situation. And he knows it. He knows it. I'm sure he's admitted it too. He knows it. And that's why he's gotten to this point where he's learned enough, right? Where he understands these things more. Because he wanted a relationship or something more with her while she was crying about the other guy. And then went back to him. Right? So that's worth keeping in mind. Because that's, again, like, they wanted something. It wasn't like, oh, I'm such a nice guy. And you put yourself in the friend zone too, by the way. They do not put you in the friend zone. It's best for you, especially as a man, to take accountability. You can walk away if you're actually interested in them and they're not interested in you. Then having respect for yourself means walking away, right? You can still be kind and nice, friendly to them, right? But move your attention elsewhere to women who would be interested in you. That's the whole point, right? Because if you keep being your friend and like hoping like one day it's gonna work out, you're doing it wrong, basically.
Like the girl I was just telling you guys about, right? The girl I was just telling you guys about, she was mad in love with this dude. Would never give me the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
Would never pull up on me and have me come talk to her in her car with nothing. I wouldn't get nothing. As soon as I got a girl, now she all up on me. As soon as I got a girl, now when she see me at State Fair, oh, hey, Stefan, hey. But it was never like that when I was single. It was never like that when I was single. So,
because now you're pre-approved by another girl. They're like, oh, well, other girls seem to like him. Like, what's going on there, right? Like they see that other girls are interested, so now they're interested, right?
as a bonus credit to 2B, or should I say 2A, 2B. Once you get a girl, or you get women, or should I say, once you get a girl, or once women see that other women find you attractive, like you're with other women and stuff like that, they're going to want to be with you. It's crazy. It's backwards. Right? But staying on topic with number two. You know, I watched some of these female YouTube channels, and it was one of these videos that said that, you know, how to not fall in love with the player. And the first step she said was to not sleep with the player. And I read the comments, and all the females said, sis, I'm sorry, but I failed level 1. Of course they will fail level 1. Because the player is who she wants. The player is her sexual imprint. That Chad, that Tyrone, that guy that's just irresistible, a guy that she can never stop thinking about, that's what she wants forever. That's the second thing that, you know, I learned in my simping days. No matter what, I cannot stop her from wanting to talk to that one guy. I'm gonna tell you something, man. That's why I don't encourage guys to take single mothers serious on a commitment level, on an exclusivity level, because baby daddy is always in them guts. Baby daddy is always on her mind. But you just a cleanup man. Kid ain't yours no way. Because it's that emotional attachment that she built through sex. And it's something that you, as a man, you cannot break that barrier.
It's a chemical bond.
You can't. You just can't. And that's just something that you got to deal with. We all, as men, sometimes as men, you got to realize, I can't sleep with her. She don't want me. Why do you are afraid of rejection as a man, dog? If she don't want to sleep with you, bro, move on to the next female that want to. They want to be a part of you. The sex is better when she wants to really do it, not when she's forced. Not.
Yeah, you should never be, because guys will think this way too, right? Like, oh, like I'll work up to get her attracted. It's like, no. Like, you want her to be attracted already, and then from there, it's just gonna grow, right? So her initially having genuine high attraction to you, because it's like doing a sale, right? Like, they should know that your product is good and be able to see it without you trying to convince them, right? Because, you know, some guys, like, they'll go on dates, right? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I have this, I have a supercar, and, you know, I just met LeBron James the other day, and, you know, I've got like, let's go to this Michelin star restaurant, and, you know, I made $3 million in deals the other month, right? It's like if they're saying that kind of stuff, they're leading with money, right? So again, it goes back to trying to impress her, trying to convince her, trying to sell her, trying to buy her time, right? Which is a totally side point. Like this little small little thing. You should never buy a girl a drink if you're at like a bar or a club or something. I don't necessarily recommend going to those places, because the quality of women is not going to be as high, right? But if you do go, don't be that guy who's trying to buy their attention. Like, oh, can I buy you a drink? You should be the guy who's saying, no, I I actually don't buy girls drink that I don't know. I'm happy to get to know you though. I'm happy to talk to you a little bit. Like they should be the ones like you see their interest and you can play on it, right? High genuine interest. You don't convince them. It's like the same thing with a sale, right? You don't convince them that the product is good because it's weak behavior during the sale and they feel it. It's like you're trying so hard to get it. But if you're like, no, it's all good. You're detached from the outcome and you're willing to walk away. Like, there's other sales that I can make here. There's other people I can sell to easy. It seems like maybe this isn't the right fit for you. All good. All good. We can walk away today. Same thing with the girl, right? Just, it seems like you're not going to say this, right? But just like you notice and you can think to yourself, this isn't worth it, right? Like I can tell like she's not that interested, so I'm not going to sit here and try to convince her, right? That's just not a good way to go.
When it's transactional, right? Oh yeah, he ain't nothing. No, I don't really like him. Stefan, she crying to me on the phone. I remember these conversations I had with this chick. This chick was very beautiful. Is she now somewhere in college? Oh, Stefan, she crying to him. He ain't nothing. He did me so wrong. I went through his phone. He was sleeping with all these chicks. A week later, they post a picture on Facebook. She digging out them guts. Extra credit number 2. You have about 2 weeks to 1 week before you get with the woman that broke up with her ex-boyfriend. There's a small window that you have to get back with her or, her get back with her man. These women hate being alone. They can talk about, their boyfriend can be as beta as ever. Their boyfriend can be very beta, but I'm going to tell you that these women rather be with a beta boyfriend than being alone. Trust me. And they don't even know why. These women talk all this crap in the beginning. Oh, yeah, I'm.
It's subconscious because attention is the currency or the coin in girl world or the realm of women, right? Like, so even when they're somewhere else, they like attention, right? And maybe they don't realize, but it's subconscious. And even a good point, I don't know if he's going to say it here, but like, because he's talking about potentially them settling for the boyfriend that it wasn't the guy they actually wanted in the long term. But even like if it's like, oh babe, I think we should take a break. You should keep in mind what's possible on that break, right? Or if you just broke up and you think, maybe there's a chance you'll get back together. You should keep in mind what's possible once you break up, right? Especially if she says that she wants to break up or she wants some space or wants a break, right? Just keep this stuff in mind, right? It's important to know.
Single, I'm doing me. 2 days later, bam, that emotional wall hit them because they can't help it. They cannot be alone. They can't be us. And that's why when the man is afraid to be alone, what is he called? A beta male. That's the second thing I knew growing up in my simp days. I figured it out that, that imprint, that guy, she'd never stop talking to that one guy that really did it to her. That really did it for her. No matter what. These women can make all these dating advices. Women make dating advice for women to get out of situations. And I make advice for you guys to understand situations because we're not into situations because that's just how we were created. Women were created to be entitled and always into someone's situation. So that's why when they're not in a man's space and a man's situation or when they're not in getting that attention, they feel some type of way. Because they're always entitled to want to be in situations. Women are born in situations. We have to create them. We as men have to create situations for ourselves. We have to create the vibe. Women already just, vibe is automatically there because she's a woman. She has titties and ass. Right? Facts. So when these women make these type of videos, it's for them to get out of the situation that they're in. I make videos for guys to understand that the situation that they're going to get into and how they can get into the situation, how they can get into the guts, how they can get into the relationship with the alpha mindset, how they can build a rotation with chicks because we don't just automatically have that. The average guy is not getting laid. Let's just keep it a buck. Last and final thing that I really figured out, I learned about female nature the last and final thing that I learned through my simping days was it's crazy, bro. It's really crazy that a ring don't mean shit. Yeah, I do. No, that don't mean nothing. That means nothing. It's all about her respect level with you as a man. That's what it's all about, fellas. The ring,
Respect.
it don't really matter.
Respect is the most important. Because if she doesn't respect you, then she can't love you.
All of these steps, all of these things that I went through in my life, that's why I talk about them. Because I don't just hands-on experience these things. I experience these things through other people as well. Because I see it from another side as well. Right? And when I see it, it's just crazy to me. And all like you can't red pill your friends. You can't like wake your friends up. Like some guy asked Steph, is it possible for a guy to understand these things and he didn't go through heartbreak? No, it's not possible.
No, that's a good point, because a lot of guys won't listen until it actually happens, right? Until something actually happens. It basically, it's like you think you know, and then you've gone through the situation to some level. Like maybe you've gone through it already once. Like let's say you've been cheated on once, right? You've gone through it once. And just as the example, right? Like some guys, they don't know until they know, which means that maybe they have to go through it more than once until they actually get it into their head. Right? So that means that sometimes you can watch a YouTube video, you can read a book, you can understand, female nature, etc., and then sometimes you still won't know until you go through it. You think that you're like the Matrix, right? Like you're gonna dodge the bullet until you go through it, and then you're like, oh, and it might be painful, right? It might be less painful because maybe you watch some of this kind of stuff or read some books on it or something, but usually most guys have at least one, if not more, quote unquote, like heartbreaks, where it kind of knocks some sense into them and they learn this sort of stuff.
You gotta go through these things to understand what I'm really coming through, because if not, you're gonna be commenting that beta male simp, man trying to comment, who hurt you? Mm-hmm. Who hurt you? I've been hurt a lot, fellas. That's why I talk about these things. I've been hurt a lot in my life. Right? I've been hurt a lot in my life. It hurts the most when you put your all into a woman and she gives you back 0%. I had that done to me 3 times. 3 times. And I would be a fool to have it done the 4th time. That's why I give you guys the game. That's why I tell you guys to look out for.
I remember I was reading some comment, and this guy was like, it was either like, I've been married and divorced twice or 3 times, and he was like, 4th time's the charm, right? And it's like, what? So you haven't learned yet. And if you can find someone if you actually have the X-ray vision, and you actually have the ability to find a woman that's the right fit for you, then maybe consider marriage, right? I'm not against it, right? Just for that example, the guy, you can see, right? He went through a thing several times and he still didn't get it. Just like Steph was just saying, right? He had to go through a couple situations, and it was unraveling layers to it. And it was like, oh, okay, you get a little bit of sense knocked into, and you're like, okay, I get it now. So you don't get it until you get it.
These things with dealing with women. I don't want you to hate them. I just want you to understand them and embrace it.
Yeah, don't hate them.
There's always a woman out there for you. You, as a man, if you want a higher quality type of woman as far as on the SMV scale, you got to improve yourself, fellas.
Yeah, giving up, by the way, because I see so many of that kind of comment. Right, giving up is weak behavior, right? And all I'm going to tell you is it's going to be hard either way. So you get to choose your hard. I'm sure you get it. You can choose to be, oh, women are evil. They all do me wrong. It never works out. They never seem to like me. I'm always in the friend zone. It's like, bro. Okay, fine. Whatever you're gonna believe that because you keep telling yourself that. Unless you actually try to make a difference. Focus on what you can improve. Learn about female nature, which means you can't check out of the dating market. Maybe take a little break if you got like a heartbreak going on, right? And come back to it in about 6 months. Use your knowledge, gain more knowledge, iterate on the process, and don't get yourself into a sticky situation so that you can find someone who's a good fit for you. You see what I'm saying?
Extra credit. What I learned in my simping days. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all want me. What does that mean? When you're successful and you're on your grind as a man and you're self-improving yourself, women want you. When you first start off, they're not gonna want you. When you start getting results, they're gonna want you. I learned that in my simping days. Why? Because I first started my self-improvement in my entrepreneurship, my business, and me really working on myself 5 years ago. Now that I'm 22 years young, I can really see how real hypergamy is. Women at the gym didn't even know who I was, but they was always giving me choosing signals. And then when they found out who I was, now they speak to me every day with a flirty sexual vibe. And they're probably watching this video right now. I don't care. You can't help it. You can't help to know who I am right now, and it's very intriguing to you. That's another thing, fellas. So what if your girl watched these videos? So what if your wife watched these videos? So what if the women in your rotation watch these videos? She can't help it. She can't help it. She can't help it. She can't help but to have the intriguing thought of your seductive words, your alpha mindset, your masculine frame, 24/7, digging out her guts until she busts. Literally just digging out her guts and talking to her, all sexy and soft. Because her emotions is involved in with how you make her feel. She can hear these videos all she wants. It don't matter. Don't matter. So that's why I talk about these things, man, because I'm going through these things right now still to this day. Had a woman say, oh, how come you didn't tell me you were famous? That is hypergamy. That's why when you are a high value man, you have to walk like it, talk like it, and look like it at all times. At all times. Start working on yourself, man. Work on your wardrobe. Work on your shoe game, man. Your cologne game. Woman standing next to you, talking to you, you should be smelling.
By the way, I forget where, because I heard this before, like back in the day. I remember someone showing me it was like an Adventure Time episode, super random but funny cartoon, and the Jake the dog, like one of the characters was like, he was saying like how he thought it was weird that people go to the supermarket in their pajamas, and that's basically what he's talking about. Like you see guys and girls too, they go to the supermarket like Walmart or whatever, like, oh, I'm just going to Walmart, it's no big deal, man. But again, right, like you're not presenting yourself the right way, right? Because you see them in pajamas or Crocs, right? Like you could present yourself that way, or you could look like you actually care, right? Like you put some effort, you care to present yourself well. You never know, man, because that sort of thing is like could lead into a great business opportunity, a job, a new friend, a girl, right? So it shows like a lack of effort when you don't do that.
Like a boss, because you are a boss, and you gotta walk like you a boss. You gotta look like you a boss. You gotta look like you it, bruh. Start with up here though. If here ain't good, then you can't do nothing. You're not gonna change. You're really gonna remain the same. That's what it's about. These things that I learned through the simping days, bruh, had made me become a colder man, a better man. Yeah, you might be going through red pill rage, and she hurt your heart, she broke your heart. I just think that we just need to move on from that.
Yeah.
But one day we'll get it. And one day it'll make sense. It's not for everybody to get. But like I said, if you get it, you'll be cold, G.
I love that he said that at the end. Because you can't stay bitter, right? Again, you can give up and you can believe, oh, your victim mindset, right? Or you can figure it out. And if you get it, you get it. And there's a saying, it's like, don't stay bitter, or don't get bitter, get better. Right? So the choice is yours. I hope this video helps you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You got this, bro.